G'day everyone, James here with JWN Lawn Care and Landscaping, bringing you another video. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now tonight I wanted to make a really quick I guess opinions video thing. I want to talk about equipment quickly. Now I've because I saw good old James from Legendary Landscaping had put up a video just tonight about the Stihl FS91 and whether he should buy one for a few overgrown jobs that he's picked up and so on. Because he's come out and worked a couple of days with us after our first meetup, which you guys will have seen, and he's picked up the FS91 every time and he just loves it to bits. He's like, oh, I really want to get one. I did fall victim to that kind of thing as well, I must admit. When we did our first meetup and he brought his SH86, I've used it a bit now, and then when he came and worked with us the first time, he brought it along, we swapped it out for the BG56 in the trailer for the day, and I loved it. You know, walking to the train with a friend a week or so ago, I turned around and I said, stop it, I feel like buying a leaf blower. And she said, alright then, and so off I went and bought a leaf blower. And that was the one. So that was actually stupid of me though. Now the only reason I really did do that was because I knew that I had the funds to do it. I've got a specific account for saving up for equipment, and I had enough to buy the BG86 in there. And also I realised that there was a noticeable enough increase in power and productivity and everything and comfort from the BG56 that was worth me buying it for the level of work we do. But for some people and for some jobs and for some work that we do, it's just not justifiable. So for someone like James, who's doing a few lawns, like me on the weekends, he's still slowly building up his business. He's basically just in his street because he doesn't have the same, I guess, transportation capabilities as I do, unfortunately. But he's still getting going. He's a few years younger than me, so he's doing really well. And the equipment he already has is fantastic for where he's at. But I feel like for some people it's easy to get trapped in this idea. If you see someone with a bigger or different business, specializing in different things or whatever the case may be, and go, oh, I really like that, they've got that, they seem to like it, I want one of them. But it's not always the right decision for you. Now for James, with a couple of overgrown yards, he's already got a KM94, which is a pretty good all-rounder trimmer. $50 price difference between the FS94 and the FS91, the 91 being $50 cheaper. The performance and so on, they're almost the same really, but it's the torque that really sets the 91 apart. Now for people who are doing a lot of lawns or are on tight time constraints, as I am, like the other day we did 9 or 10 lawns in half a day, which is pretty damn good going for the size of the ones that we were doing and how spaced out they were. If you've got tight time constraints or you're needing to get a lot done, spending that extra money and buying that extra bit of kit is really useful, and that's why I bought my FS91, because we were getting to the point in October and September last year where it was getting into the mowing season for us, and that's when we get all the calls for the overgrown cleanups. So I knew we were going to get a lot, and I seen that the 94 got through it, but it was slow. It wasn't allowing me to get the productivity that I really needed to make these jobs as profitable as possible. And we were doing a lot of them. I knew it was just going to wear out the 94 because it's not built for that. So I elected to buy the 91, and it's been a fantastic purchase. It's paid itself off easily, and it was a really good decision because it did pay itself off fast, because we did have the level of work to actually justify it. If you've only got a small amount of work though, even if, so for instance, I have $100 cleanup that I'm doing, it's very easy, and I did this when I was young many times. I go, oh, I've bid this cleanup at $100, $150, whatever that means. $150 goes to paying off this new bit of equipment. Took me a bit to realise that actually, no, that $100 is total. So out of that, only 30, 35, 40, probably pushing it at the max, would be going to paying off that new bit of equipment, that new trimmer or whatever. The rest is in mowing, blowing off, paying your staff, paying yourself, tax, everything else, fuel, oil, all those sorts of things, because they have to be factored in too. So where you originally think, oh, I can pay off this trimmer in 5 lawns or 6 lawns or cleanups or whatever, turns out actually maybe it takes, 14, 15, 16. And then you have to think about, well, actually, do I have that number to pay that off in a reasonable time? If you do, awesome. If you don't, might be a bit difficult. All hope isn't lost though if you're in that boat, because I was in that boat for a while, and I mean, James has to do his own numbers and evaluate for his own business, as do any of you guys out there who are also in that same situation, as to whether you're in that boat too. If you are, it's not a problem at all. We all start out, right? And we normally don't start out with anything fancy. So you've all got to go there and work your way up. And even if you are in that boat though, there is another good option would be, say, buying used. Now, for me, basically all of my handhelds have been bought new, because when I've been buying them, I've been able to justify them with the work we do and their cost and so on. But you can actually find, so if one of these FS91s is $500 new, you can actually pick up a decent condition FS90, or sometimes there might be a 91 here and there, or similar, in Honda or what have you, for, between like $195 and $250. So you're getting about half the price. That's pretty good going. And for someone who doesn't have a lot of work but would still like to see the benefits of that, that could actually be a really good option. So you can see them all over the place on eBay, Gumtree, and so on. Even walk into your local cash converters. There's probably a few bits and pieces there as well, or similar car pawn shop sort of things, whatever you want to call them. That sounds a bit weird. But discount stores. So like otherwise you can also split it. So like I'm looking at getting a 54-inch zero turn, because I've got some bigger properties, some overgrown cleanups and so on, where I'd really like a bigger deck than a 42. It would make it a lot faster, make it a lot easier on me, improve productivity, improve profits and so on. That's what I'm all about, guys, you know that. So I've been looking at things like this Hustler Fast Track Super Duty 54, good condition. I think it's got, what is it, 235 hours, right? Pretty low hours for a machine like this. 7.5 grand. These normally retail at about 14 or more for that, for the SD model 54. Plus your flex forks and so on, they're probably another $300-400, and the guy's happy to throw in a magnetic blade sharpener, which is worth about $752. So pretty good deal. But even at 7.5 grand, for the amount of work that I'd have for a 54-inch, that's still pushing it a bit. So what I've actually been doing is talking with another local contractor who's been in the business for ages, who I know, and we're actually looking at, because he has a few schools and larger properties as well, where a 54 would be nice as opposed to his current 42-inch lawn tractor. But he, like me, he doesn't have enough work to be able to easily pay off a brand new machine on his own. So we said to each other, well, what if we split it? Now, it does mainly only apply for big, expensive equipment like this. You won't really say, oh, can you split, a $200 whippersnipper with me or whatever. But for bigger equipment, splitting the cost can actually work out pretty well. So there are further implications you have to look at in terms of who pays for servicing, who pays for if you break something, how do you figure that, and so on. But you can cross that bridge when you come to it, because even at $7.5 grand for this machine, if we split that in two equally, because we both use it about an equal amount of time, only a couple of days a week, that equal around to around $3,750 each. Right, that is dirt cheap for a 54-inch. And that I could easily justify. So that's another option. It's all about, what you actually need to do. Let's have a look at some footage here. So really, it's up to you. All I don't want to see, because I'm on a lot of these groups on Facebook and so on, where people they go, oh, I'll buy this, oh, I'll buy that. Very easy to get yourself sucked into buying stuff that you don't really need, because you see other people with it, who often will have substantially different either financial but also work conditions, circumstances, and so on. You can say, oh, I love a Walker T25. I love one, right? What is his name? Jason Ambrose got one for his landscaping business. Slight problem though, he can actually justify one pretty well, because he's probably mowing 80 or 90 condo houses at once, right? Where I'd probably mow maybe 8 to 10 with one in a week, if I'm lucky. So there's a big difference in usage level there. So yeah, one of those will push like 28 grand over here. But I'm not sure what they are in US, but they're still definitely not cheap. But he can justify that because he's got the work for it. So I guess you've got to figure out where you sit and where your needs sit, and then go, right, what can I do from here? And as I said, you've got those options. You can split the cost. You can finance for some bigger bits of equipment, though that can sometimes backfire on you. You can save up, as I'm doing. I save up until I hit a certain level and say, right, I need this much for that. Once I've got up to there, do I really need it? Run my numbers, will it help? Yep, okay, cool, let's go for it. No, alright, let's save up a bit more, get something else that will really benefit us. Or you can just buy something used. It's also, that's a good option. Don't be afraid of buying good used equipment. So that's all from me. That's my opinion. Tell me yours down below. Fine to hear whatever you think. James, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're going to watch this. I hope you don't feel like I'm singling you out or anything, but because we've been talking about this over like Facebook and Instagram and so on, I feel like it's a good example to show, because there's a lot of guys out there in the same boat, and I think it's important that everyone kind of finds their sweet spot in the industry and says, yep, I can sit here, I can run on this, and I can do great. So yeah, I mean, go for your life with whatever you can and what you can justify. That's all from me. Tell me your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.